Hey, you guys. Hey, and welcome. Let me tell you something. Who people's been trying to be grown all weekend, and they are still paying for it. OMG. Welcome. I hope y'all have had a wonderful weekend. I did. I had a great weekend. I'm tired. 10 o'clock ain't no joke. I be tired by 10 o'clock. Even if I be asleep, I be tired, and I normally be over there laying down every other night. And for real, ooh, me and the Most High talked this one through, buddy. We talked this one through, and I declare and decree that I was good. I was good. And then I got a word that just came back to me from the weekend because I spoke with one of my sisters from church. I was supposed to be going somewhere with her today. And so she called me yesterday. Basically, I couldn't go, but she was basically calling to tell me that she was going to wing it and try to do it by herself because of how she felt like the situation may go. But in the midst of all of that, I was explaining to her my weekend, and she basically was like, I was like, because I ain't even got up and got my creative juices flowing. And she was like, push yourself. And at that point, I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. For reals, I'm good. But then I said I was going to push myself, you guys, and I did. And while I only created one piece of jewelry yesterday, I was good with having just created that one piece of jewelry because, in essence, I still did what she said do because I was dog tired. Like, I don't hang out. I hung out all weekend. And then I look. I wasn't the young lady that could just go out. I couldn't go out like that when I was a teenager. So I didn't really have to concern myself with if you're going out on Saturday night, you better make sure you're ready for church on Sunday. Not for real, because I could really not go out. My aunt won't no joke. I couldn't do a whole lot of going out, so I was going to be ready for church. But I know the concept of if you can hang out all night on Saturday, you can get up and go to church. So because I know the Most High has called me back to where I left off, and I believe also revealed to me yesterday why I was called back, I said, let me get the tail up and go on over to the church house. Even though I didn't want to. I did not want to. I had just got in the house probably like 1:30. I was up by 6:45 trying to get ready because I get on a prayer line with my cousin. Welcome. I get on a prayer line with my cousin on Sunday morning. So I was up early enough to do that and then to get myself ready for church. And it wasn't no joke. Like, it wasn't no joke. So to make that one bracelet yesterday was a lot. But the same way I felt about making that bracelet yesterday was the way I felt about coming live tonight. But I said, no, push. Like she said yesterday, you just got to push. And so I pushed. My whole thing was, when I say that whatever I'm going to talk about, I get it throughout the whole previous week. I ain't get nothing. Like, I don't have to go searching for it. I get it. I keep my phone near me. So, when I'm watching podcasts and stuff like that, like, here go my notes. I ain't get nothing. So that was a part of it. I'm like, what I'm going live? Well, I ain't getting nothing, Lord. I ain't getting nothing. What I'm going to talk to the peoples about then? Welcome, you guys. Welcome. I am Sylvie, and this is Sylvie 414. Your rough edge lady is who I be. And I hope that y'all are having a great, great, great night tonight. I need to clean these because hold up for a minute, y'all. I hope y'all having a great, great, great night tonight and have had a great, great, great day as well. The Most High did give me something to talk about. It's crazy. That's why I say it's bigger than me. And I'm excited. And every time I come live for the rest of the month of September, shout out to YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. Subscribe anniversary all month long. We at 107, y'all, and counting. 107 and counting. So yes. So I don't know if y'all recognized my title or my caption. Smoke for who? Smoke for you. So I have one podcast that I watched. But before I go into my content, anybody who done been with this joker know what your girl getting ready to do. I need 2 good minutes. 2 good minutes is all I need. I promise. 2 good minutes is all I need. I done got rid of my YouTube page by mistake, but whoop, there it is all over again. I just need to balance this thing out for about 2 good minutes. If y'all can give me 2 minutes, get my meditation on. Music already playing. Let me just get my clock set for my 2 minutes right quick. After I hit this 2 minutes, y'all know what to do. All right. I just need to. Oh, that 2 minutes went by kind of quick. That 2 minutes went by kind of quick. No, stop is what I want. Okay. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Okay, so today I only have content from one podcast that I watched. Because, like I said, I was like, where are we going with this, Lord? Because I have nothing. And then we're going to discuss shadow work a little bit because it's important. It is really, really important. And I got a song for y'all. And I'm going to see if I can't sing it all the way through. It's going to tie in. And I just came up with it. That's why I'm going to see if I can sing it all the way Ooh. Okay, give me a minute. Okay. In my Beverly Hills, no, not 90210. In my Beverly Hillbillies tune, let me tell you a story about a girl named Dad. On a daily walk from school, a jumping she would get. And then one day, cousin looked her in the face. Said, if you come home without fighting your battles, then I'm gonna catch a case. So from that day, her battle she would fight. I don't even remember the rest of the way it went. Cause when I say I just had it in my mind and I was gonna write it down, it was my meditation. It was coming to me in meditation, and I'm probably gonna write it down because I know the words. Meditation before I got on. Oh my gosh, it was so pertinent that I'm probably going to do a video with the whole song, because trying to remember it in meditation, I just kept saying, Lord, I'm getting distracted because this song in my head. And I felt like I wasn't going to remember it time I stopped meditating. But basically, I'm just going to go ahead and say what the song was talking about. Every day when I walked home from school as a child in the first grade, I got jumped. And I just used to go home and cry. And then one of my people was like, you're going to fight your battles, or you're going to have to come home and fight me. And so I began to fight my battles. I was 5. I began to fight my battles because I got tired of being jumped first and foremost. And I didn't want to get beat when I got home after having just got jumped. And so having had to fight my battles from that early age built a habit of fighting battles. And if you know the Lord, the Lord wants you to know that all the battles are not yours to fight. And I will fight all of my battles. That is the shadow work that I deal with. That is the shadow work that I deal with. Having to understand I don't have to fight a battle. And that's whether with my mouth. I ain't fighting no battles with my hands. I'm almost 50 years old. I have fought as an adult. I'm not proud of it. I have fought as an adult, but it's not my intention to fight. But I'll fight my battles with this right now, and I'll cut you deep. I will cut you deep if you mess with me. I don't go out and just try to start a fight with anybody at any time. But if you mess with me, I will mess with you back. Period. Shadow work is important for so many reasons. We're gonna discuss that. I'm gonna go into, shadow work for beginners. My content is based off of, and I'm gonna go ahead on and say fair use practices and allegedly, because I'm just learning this stuff. And that was my intention too. I'm gonna study up on fair use so that I can make sure that I am operating according to fair use practices, because while my platforms are not humongous, they are growing, and people get hit for the little things that happened when they was little. And I don't want no problems. I don't want no problems later on from something that happened when I was little. So I am learning how to get in the habit of going according to how these pages say go. And YouTube is the no jokiness of all of the platforms. YouTube ain't no joke. YouTube don't want you bringing no music. YouTube, you ain't getting ready to cuss too much on YouTube. Like, YouTube is the strictest platform, in my opinion. It's the strictest platform. If you play music on YouTube, it has to be your own, because even if, and I have heard several podcasters say, if you sing on YouTube, like if I'm on my platform and I just get to singing and it sounds too good to YouTube, YouTube is going to hit that video. I don't want no problems. I don't want no problems. So, the podcast that I watched was the Armand Wiggins show. So we talked about it a little bit last week. We got into Tiffany Haddish. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys like and share, like and share. We got into Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears a little bit last week. And then I just began to watch more on them and see more things come to light. And I'm just going to say this, and I may have said it last week, but if I did, I'm going to say it again. As horrible as that video is, it really looked like, it sounded like at the end, you are trying to place a warning. Just went about the whole entire wrong way. And it's so much more that seems to be linked to it that we don't know right now if that's all that went on. The smoke, though, the smoke is not just for Aries Spears. Because what's going on online right now is a lot of people just totally bashing Aries Spears. And hey, I done did my Stanky Yankee video and all of that. Like, my thing is, don't forget Tiffany Haddish was there. And the podcasts have even gone so much into saying, putting the pictures up, the side-by-sides. When you see a picture of them side by side, it's going to have Aries Spears looking at his worst and Tiffany Haddish looking at her best. All of it just sounding like unfair practices. Tiffany Haddish got to get the smoke if she's involved, because she brought the babies. She brought the babies. She said when she came out and responded, that bothered me, because when she came out and responded, she said, I'm sorry that I acted in the skit. And all I said when she said that was, baby, you did more than act in the skit, boo. You brought the babies. You went and befriended that woman on the premise of your similarities. You guys were going through a divorce. She felt like y'all were sisters. Everybody keeps saying, why don't mama let her babies go? Why don't mama let her babies go? The mama let her babies go because she felt like they was going with a friend who she trusted, a friend who told her, well, I'm going to get your babies on Nick. A friend who flipped the script on the babies once they got to where they was going. Oh, y'all ain't going to make it because y'all don't know how to. This was a 7-year-old little boy. The little boy is still a minor. That's another thing that people are just, the little boy is still a minor. We all out here, and over there talking about semantics. And the little boy is still a minor. The young lady may be an adult, but the young lady fighting her brother's battles based off of the fact that her mama ain't fighting them the right way. Mama could get some smoke too. Because you went into that so many years ago just trying to get some money. And if you felt like your son had been hurt or taken advantage of or assaulted, that's what you should have been chasing. Not the money, honey. Where they do that at? Where they do that at? And so Armand Wiggins said, why is Tiffany Haddish not getting the same smoke as Aries Spears? And he went on to say, why don't women get the same smoke? Why don't women get the same smoke? Willie D said it when Willie D was talking about Nick Cannon. And I still don't agree with you spreading your seed to all different kinds of houses for these babies' emotions to be out of whack. Emotions. Emotions is the things that shadow work is made of. Getting your emotions back intact. And it says that the shadow starts in childhood from things like, when I read that article today, the first thing I thought about, it was like when you, like when in childhood, when you get to telling your children they can't do this or you can't do that. I thought about my baby. My baby wrote on the wall. My baby wrote on that wall when she was a little gal. Welcome, 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 y'all. She wrote all over her wall like it was her canvas. And I just walked in that room and I was like, little girl, what in the world is you? And I went downstairs and I got her a bucket. My baby was probably not even 5, 6. She might have been 5. She may have been 6. Went downstairs and got her a bucket of soapy water. She gonna clean that wall. And my baby's creativity, see, I'm just starting to do shadow work. But I know that what me and those young ladies have gone through and come through. And I know what goes on and has gone on in their life. And I know that her creativity was stunted. And we have spoken since she's been an adult about that day. That was before I started doing my own shadow work. But inevitably, I've been doing shadow work without knowing that it was called shadow work anyway, since I began to walk in healing. Woe to that person that just decides that they do not want to take the deepest and the hardest look on the inside. It is a wholeness that comes from learning yourself fully. It is a peace. You don't got to be walking around with this persona on, which we are going to get into, because shadow work, there are 8 archetypes to shadow work, and the persona is one of them. And when you refuse to go inside and look deep, you're living a life through a persona of how you want people to see you. And Anima is the one that came to me first. And many of us, I think a lot of my men, but a lot of my women as well, have Anima issues. But if you don't want to look at yourself, you not only won't know, but you'll reject that you have that issue. I was on a post. I be on several posts going back and forth with people sometimes. That's why I said learn how to, I don't got to fight all my battles. But I was on that one post, and I didn't even stay on that one long. Definitely didn't stay on it 2 months like that. It's like the one on YouTube. But all I kept telling those gentlemen is y'all need to check y'all ex and y'all Anima. Y'all too far over there. Y'all refuse to understand and believe that you have female energy. I think that sometimes men think that that may make them LGBTQ, and it doesn't. It just means it's a fact. You have an X chromosome, that's a female chromosome. And according to psychology, we all have masculine energy and feminine energy. And there are women that walk very deeply in their masculine energy. I was one. Doing your shadow work helps you to begin to walk in your femininity a lot more. Now, don't get me wrong. From the time I looked at myself and knew I was fly, there was nothing anybody else could do to combat that. Because that's what they was doing on that post. When the one kept saying, you just keep talking about the X and the Anima, because y'all don't get it. Y'all done got to calling me schmuck bucket. telling me I look like Shaq after I just spoke. Look, I almost thought they came on my page when they said I look like Shaq. I was like, did y'all not just see me post that game? It asked me what celebrity I look like. Them OMG games. And it came up with Shaq. And in the picture, I was like, well, dang, I guess I could see a resemblance. But let me find out a woman can't look like a man. Me and my brother look just alike. We look like our mama. That don't take away from my fly. Sorry, hon. No, it doesn't. But let's talk a little bit about the shadow. The shadow. Because this is my opinion. I was trying to upload a thumbnail of Tiffany Haddish because every picture that I looked at on Google, I look into eyes. I don't care how good you say you're doing. I look into your eyes and they don't say the same thing. I know that it was a lie. Period. And I looked into her eyes on many of those pictures. Y'all remember Orange is the New Black, Crazy Eyes? Yeah, Tiffany Haddish kind of got crazy eyes. And they was a little different in every picture, but none of them screamed peace to me. And it's allegedly said, and I really feel like I don't have to say allegedly there because she's the one that said it. She was assaulted as a child. And I've said this before. Whatever you go through as a child, if there is any neglect, if there is any abuse, if there is anything, there is the opportunity that you may become what you went through. There is the opportunity that you are going to repress what you went through, trying not to be that thing, which is still not a good thing. The only other in between is shadow work. Balance. You don't have to become the abuser. You don't have to become the abused again, all over again, because you repressed it and not wanted to deal with the things that went on. Jesus sat in the middle. Jesus sat in the middle of good and bad. And look, I got a little Bible verse to fit into this thing today. Just a little Bible verse to fit into this thing today. I promise you, just a little one. Just a little one. And it is Proverbs. Where it at? Did I not? But I did. Oh yeah, Proverbs 12 and 15. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. Wisdom is going to listen to somebody. I don't come up here and talk just to y'all. I come up here and talk to y'all based off of what I've gone through. Shoot, some things that I may still go through. But I don't just sit back in my stuff and think that my stuff is right. I ain't going to call wrong right or right wrong. But what I am going to do with me is sit back and take a look at it. Sit back and take a look at it. See if it's beneficial or not. It says, as far as the fool seeing everything right in his eyes, whether it's open profaneness or self-righteousness, the fool gonna think it's right. I don't need no advice. I'm good. And everything I do, I's good. How do you grow? How do you grow if you're good in everything you do? Welcome, y'all, welcome. How do you grow if you're good at everything you do? It's no space for growth in that. Can't nobody tell you nothing. You ain't gonna listen if they do. The wise person is not only going to listen to advice, they're gonna ask for it. You think I won't? If it's something that I know somebody got that I ain't got, and I ain't talking about material things, per se. If you've been through a thing I ain't been through, and you made it through on the up hand side, oh, let me come on, let me get some of this wisdom from you, please, and thank you. I'm mad I ain't remember that whole song because it was really, really, oh man. It's all good though. It's all good. When I get it together, I promise I'm gonna post it. I promise I'm gonna post it. I promise. So we're gonna talk a little bit about shadow, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. And I'm doing a Bernice would not like this right now. I do bet. Well, I ain't really looked down at this, but about the shadow, because I just researched this today. So I might be looking down a little bit, just a little bit. We're not even gonna talk about well, to not want to do shadow work is societal oppression because you can't live your life in authenticity if you refuse to do the work. So inevitably, your community does become hurt. The longer you go without wanting to do your shadow work, your community becomes hurt because anybody around you becomes affected. And if anybody around you becomes affected and then they take it out, then they affect as well. I know it goes on to say that when you refuse to do the shadow work, when you repress that thing, if you think about pressing, repress, that's pushing it down. Anything that you push down will eventually explode. So I want to come up. I just need to take some water, y'all. Excuse me. It will eventually explode. So repression is never going to be a good thing. But it also says that when you do that, you wind up in wrong relationships, in wrong careers, and you're sitting around wondering. Because the person, and this is why you're sitting around wondering, because the person that does not want to look at themselves is normally good with passing the buck. They did this to me. They pushed my buttons. They don't like me at work. They did that. That's why you don't understand, because you refuse to look at yourself. And with me, I wasn't a pass the bucker. It just was very hard for me to do the work. I was very I'm just gonna use the word, Lord. I just thought about the TikTok. I was very lazy. I'm gonna use the word and then I'm gonna explain to you why I just went ahead and used the word because I was trying to look for a better word. The girl on TikTok was like, they blocked her. She's talking to women, and she said that she spoke on the weakness in a woman that would allow herself to continue to be abused. Her videos got cut down. She said, well, if you don't want me to say weak, let me just say unstrong. So I was about to think of a word, but no, let's call it what it was. It's lazy. And it felt almost like an impossibility. I heard a podcaster say that the other day. I went through my thing with depression. I went through. Welcome, 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 you guys. And when you deal with depression, your mind is telling you you can't do this. Your mind tell you every day you can't do this. You can't live life. You can't even get up out this bed good. Lovely T said all this shit. It's a struggle. She still declares that she struggles with depression, and that's the difference. Because I'm not going to declare and bring a struggle down on me. I will accept the fact that there are symptoms that I go through, but I will not call myself depressed. I will not, in this season, call myself depressed. And it ain't so. I don't watch my eyes open, but I do still have struggles that I have to push. And yesterday, that push to make that jewelry, that ain't had nothing to do with depression. That had something to do with, just like I said, hanging out all weekend. Hanging out all weekend thinking I was grown. And then getting up going to church. I was tired. I was tired. I was exhausted. Tired was not the word. I was exhausted. Because I danced the night away 2 days straight. And dancing will take a lot out of you. Yes, it will. So it says that you generally, I already discussed that, generally the shadow is going to start in childhood. So if that shadow is created in childhood, whether it be based off of trauma or be based off of, the places where you were shut down, and the article says that you had to exile places of yourself, so you had to put them in hiding. That's when they became your shadow, when you put them in hiding, and then you left them there. And it goes on to state that sometimes you get in the way where you want to do the work, and then you hit a wall where it seems so hard, and you just leave it. You stop doing the work. That's not going to work, because every time you stop doing it, you got to start all over again. Every time you stop, you have to start all over again. Going in and realizing that you have a dark side. I just posted that video today and was basically like, well, it might have been yesterday, and was basically like, if you go inside and you look within and you determine that you're good with how you are, like if you are truly good with how you are, you want to be a bad, cool beings. But also often you feeling these gut punches and these excessive emotions, and you don't understand where they come from. And because I know, this is me going back to the song I was singing about getting jumped every day coming home from school. I don't like to be messed with to this day. That is the shadow work that I am working on. You mess with me, I'm going to mess with you back. So those times that I don't, like when I tell you, I will not sit here and say that I totally have it under control in that area. That's why I say some things I still go through. I've gotten over and gone through and got to the other side of many things. But being messed with is something I still don't like, so I'm challenged. I just had a friend that we went to get something to eat. We went to Popeyes. And since I used to work for Popeyes, this is what should have given me the patience, because I used to work for Popeyes. And so I know that the headsets are no good. The headsets are no good. And so the customers, you can barely hear the customers. But the Popeyes that I work for, they used to blame the customer. It's not my fault y'all headsets is raggedy. And the Popeyes that I worked for was a Popeyes that I had stopped frequenting as a customer, because when I start clenching my teeth, that's that shadow work that I'm still dealing with. Because it'll still frustrate me. But I'm sitting there and I'm trying to place my order. And I used to press it to my ear so that I can make sure I heard the customer as best as possible, so I don't have to ask the customer 5 and 6 times, what did you say? Because that is a frustrating question when you're supposed to be listening to me. And so I sat there for a little bit. She kept asking questions. And so when I went to do like this, my friend just pushed me back in my seat. And I got a chance to breathe. The goal, though, being to go ahead on and take that breath, because you know that thing will frustrate you. That's what shadow work wants you to do. It wants you to look at the times that you go into a place that's not your normal place, that you step outside of yourself. And it does not just want you to look at that. It wants you to sit with it so that you can see what it is that you may be able to do to turn that thing around. This used to be on every hand. Like I said that the Most High sent me through what I call a shut up season, and that was to help with, and it helped. I promise it did. That was to help with some of this battle fighting that I do. And that was back in like between 2008 and 2000. It was probably like 2009, 2010. Yeah, I was in shut up season for like 2 years. So when I began to talk, like really, like I was fighting no battles. And not only was I fighting no battles, I was fighting no battles and wanting to still fight them. So if you understand how it feels to want to do something that you can't do, especially an angry thing, like if you make me angry, I want to allow that anger to come out, to be expressed as anger, because you seem like you wanted me to be angry. So even though it's my anger, if you want it, I got it for you. I done learned to not say you made me angry. I done learned to not say you push my buttons, they mine. But if you want it, I got it. That is not what the Most High wanted. So when after that 2 years, when I came out of that shut up season, I didn't really know how to maneuver, because during that 2 years, while I was shutting up, there was so much heat rising up in me because I couldn't talk. My teeth stayed clenched. I would talk to the Most High in the midst of the situation. I could be in the store and the cashier or whoever could have did what they did, and I allowed it to push my buttons, and I'm ready to talk, and the Lord said, shut up. And so I'm sitting here like this, the heat up to here, up to my throat. And I cannot, because the Most High said I cannot. And the more that time went on, because as I said, that was back in like 2009, 2010. So the more that time went on, the more that I felt the heat reside. No joke, y'all. The more that I felt the heat reside, but it wasn't like a permanent thing. It wasn't like there was no incident that I ever allowed to take me to that place. It just wasn't as heavily as it was before that season. And it was such to the point that the Most High made sure that I would continue to work on it. So it ain't nowhere near what it was. I'm proud. I'll toot my horn. Toot. Toot. Because it's nowhere near what it was. And I'm human. So I can act humanly from time to time. But I have exhibited a lot of growth in that area. And that's why I say I believe that I've been doing shadow work before I knew it was called shadow work. That's why I be telling y'all when I come on this platform, I ain't asked for the Most High to take me into no directions that I'm at. Shadow work. Look, I grew up all my life as a Christian, and I still claim Christianity. Shadow work and chakras and oils, the numbers. Y'all know that ain't Christian-like. That ain't religious-like. Guess where I came upon all of that? The metaphysics and all of that? In the Bibles. In my Bible studies. Because I don't just read the Bible. I promise you, I don't just read the Bible and call that study. I don't just accept the Bible just as whole truth, because that would be delusional. And we done talked about delusions. I ain't even got no subject for what I've been talking about for the last 2 weeks, but I just know that it's basically based on getting this work done. And I feel as though this work needs to be done because our children need to be protected. And how can they be protected if we are not our best selves. If we refuse to look at ourselves, I already said that it affects your relationships. Before I started talking about Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears last week, I had a video, and that video is still going around. I was speaking about children having to be made to make adults, children, them wanting children to make adult decisions. Yeah. You want children to make a decision on whether they are able to transition from a female to a male or a male to a female. But then R. Kelly is in jail because he was with some young ladies that want children no more. I think those young ladies that he went to jail for want children at all. You didn't get them when he was with the children. You got him based off of a documentary when he was with some chicks that was of age. And as I speak about Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears and not lightening the weight on Tiffany Haddish, I'm not understanding the concept of lightening the weight. If Aries Spears gets some time, Tiffany Haddish need to be right beside him, getting the same amount of time, if not more. You brought the babies. If anything go down, she should get the most time. She brought the babies. Now, the eyes are the keys to the soul. It's possible. Had mama been in a place of shadow work, because it still seems as though mama is fighting battles today from what certain podcasters are talking about. Mom was in a place where she was able to do shadow work. Maybe, just maybe, she could have looked into Tiffany's eyes and saw crazy eyes. Who knows? But what we know is that she trusted a friend. But I hear so many people talking about this agenda. You want to talk about Lizzo and the agenda with overweight people, and Saucy Santana with the agenda with the LGBTQ. The agenda. Tell you what the agenda is. The agenda is not the LGBTQ community, not people that are just trying to live their lives. The agenda is not Lizzo because she's overweight. The United States has an overweight epidemic. So as I continue to say, while Lizzo can get the smoke because she puts herself out there, you can't expect for her to just go home and hide either until she loses weight. If she want to keep putting herself out there and getting the smoke, but she don't fight the overweight epidemic, the obese epidemic all by herself. Nor does Saucy Santana fight an agenda over the LGBTQ. But they are going to try to put another letter up there. They are already working on the fact that they are saying that the P word, what happens to babies when adults get near them that ain't supposed to be. Yeah, they trying to change that word. They say that word is offensive. Y'all know the word I'm talking about. They want to call them minor loving adults. Do you want your minor loving an adult? Do you want an adult loving your minor? Could this be a reason that you want to get your mind right, baby? Get your mind right. Come on, little mama, come on. Because they trying to love up on the babies. They're trying to love up on the babies. Period. And while shadow work does have to be on your own terms and for you, we're going out here. Nick Cannon wasn't in now one of them beds by himself. When Willie D made that video, Willie D called his mama to the mat. And guess what? So did I. And my mother's no longer here. I have had multiple conversations with multiple people. who give reasons why we go out here and we give ourselves up and we have all these babies. Some, I don't care if they're with the same man or with a different man, but if you're having babies in an unhealthy state and then your babies are suffering, guess what? You got to take some responsibility when they become adults that have to do shadow work. But that's what parents don't want to do. Parents want to say, I did the best that I could, and then just leave it for us to go out here and be a hot mess and try to heal ourselves. I lost a friendship because I didn't say your mama is responsible for making your brother better. I said your mother, I said in order for there to be family healing, if the family gonna heal, you can't pass the buck to the other person. You got to look at yourself and what you may have had to do with it. Period. Her brother had issues with things that his mom did. If we can't communicate with our parents, if it's only going to be, I have to thank the Most High, and it did not always feel good. It does not always feel good when my daughters get to telling me about me as a parent. But if we gonna have a better relationship ever, I can't just take what they say and say it ain't so. The only people that do that is people that do not want to self-analyze. I've never once told, I told my daughters I did the best I could and just left it there. Just like I said, when we have these conversations, and I don't just sit around and take blame and brunt, because I tell them things about themselves as well. But I have to recognize that at 18 years old, after all that I had gone through as a child, I had never sat down in one counselor's chair after being abandoned, after being abused, after having to repress feelings and thoughts. I had not sat down in one chair to seek out any healing before I went and got pregnant and had babies. I did not sit down and read one manual about how to be a parent. So how could I then say I did the best that I can? I ain't gonna try to get no counseling for y'all. I ain't gonna try to look at no parent guides. And my daughters, they don't call me no bad mama. I promise you, they do not call me no bad mama. But they still tell me about myself as a mama. Ain't nobody like perfect. And I still have to, y'all ain't went through what your mama went through. But as your mama, knowing what I went through, I can take a look at myself and say, okay, I could have done that better, and I apologize. I didn't get no apologies from my mother. You're not always going to get an apology. But I said, Lord, if I needed to apologize to these young ladies for anything, let me swallow my pride and do so. Period. And so that's what I did. So I'm going to give y'all some quick little things that you can do to start your shadow work if you desire to start shadow work. Cool beans. And then I'm going to get out y'all hair. Period. Okay. So, yeah, I basically went over. I did good, Bernice. So when you repress your issues, a lot of times you're going to look for other ways, other outlets. It says that drugs and alcohol can be used as an outlet. Negative self-talk, stress, and mental health. And I tell people, oh, that's what shadow work is about, checking your psyche. Them doctors ain't studying us. Doctors ain't studying us. This platform is for all of everybody's. But it is a certain group of folks that them doctors ain't studying us. So we have to dig deep for our own healing. Period. It is what it is. So the first thing you're going to want to do if you're starting shadow work is you're going to want to take note of when that mood changes. Anything that feels like a gut punch, anything that feels like pressure or the rising of heat, as I call it, you're going to want to take a deep look at that. How often it happens, what exactly triggers it, and this is going to help you going forward to be able to build better habits than the explosive ones that may be going on now. So it's going to be okay. Yeah, I said all that. Oh yeah, look what she said in the article. And I love that. And I put that whole quote. She said, if you judge yourself and distance yourself from yourself, then the analysis stops and you just move on. I said that earlier, but not in those words. Because a lot of times we hide that part of us because we think it's a bad thing. So we're judging ourselves for it. If you judge yourself, because generally, if you're a judgmental person, a lot of times we say we don't judge. And I don't tell that lie either. I have asked God to help me not to, and that has gotten better as well. Generally, if you're judging someone, you want to distance yourself from that someone. If you ain't liking the way somebody living, you're going to distance yourself. So imagine trying to distance yourself from yourself. And I used to, look, and I will never tell a lie. And I do shadow work. And I smoke weed. I don't smoke weed at this particular point in life. I have eyes that you can look in. I have eyes that you can look in, and I promise you they ain't crazy. They ain't sad because I look in my eyes on a regular basis. I ain't saying I don't get down from time to time or anything like that. I smoke weed because it's a habit that I've had for a whole lot of years, period. That's where I'm at with that. But as far as distancing yourself, I said that because I had a pastor a long time ago who had asked me to do praise and worship, open up praise and worship at the church years and years ago, back in 2008 maybe. Might have been before that. It was before that. It was, 2005. And I first told him no. So he wound up asking me again. And I reluctantly said yes. And I got up there and I began to open up praise and worship. And my spirit just used to hit me hard because I'd be up that joker praying. And he asked me that based off of inviting me to our prayer time, because that's one thing that the Most High knows about me. I love prayer and have always loved prayer. Always, my grandmother always called on me whenever our family had lost. I was always the one that she called on for prayer, and I never knew why. I was just shocked when my grandmother used to call on me to pray before we go get in the family cards or what have you, to go to the funeral. So I went out to prayer, and based off, I didn't know I was going to be praying. I just thought that I was going to be there for prayer and they were going to be praying, or he was going to be praying. So when we down there on our knees and he like, okay, Sister McIntyre. And I was like, what? But that's how he came to ask me, because based off of experiencing me in my prayer time, he felt like I would be the person to do praise and worship. As I began to do praise and worship, my spirit would feel guilty because I'd be ready to go home and smoke. And so eventually I allowed that to affect my praise and worship, and I went to him and I told him I couldn't keep doing it. He was like, why? I said, because I smoke and I be ready to go home and smoke, and it don't feel right standing up there on the platform, ready to go home and smoke. And his next, this was before my shut up season, because his next words, his next words took me from, based upon his next words, I went from 0 to 100 real quick. 0 to 100 real quick. Because his next words were, you need to stop hanging around who you hang around. And my next words to him was, how do I stop hanging around with me? Because I promise I didn't then, don't now. I do not need nobody to help me smoke. I know how to do it by myself. And I do it by myself. And you do not have to take me up on the invite if I did invite you. Because I'd be good by myself. So for you to tell me that I need to stop hanging around the people that I hang around, you're taking the responsibility off of me. Because even if I was around the people that I hang around, it's me to say yeah. Nobody put a gun to my head. But I said all that to say that if you separate yourself from yourself, you're never going to want to do the work. You're never going to want to do the work. And I will go on to say, I was told many years after that from somebody I loved and respected, and the Most High confirmed it, I was not supposed to step down. I didn't even give the Most High a chance to move or to see what the Most High wanted to do. I was not supposed to step down, is what I was told. But I did not feel like that was where I needed to be. But that's neither here nor there, because the Most High did not allow me to stop praying. I know that. Nor doing praise and worship. I've been invited out to many different venues to do praise and worship. I just got invited out last weekend to do praise and worship. See, the thing about me, and you either gonna love me or hate me on this platform, because I'm not the person that's basing my relationship with the Most High off of the fact that I smoke. Y'all might be. But then y'all probably might be the same people who is doing something that somebody can't see and think because somebody can't see it that it ain't so. And guess what? I'll do you one better. I do believe that the Most High wants me to stop partaking in it the way that I do, because it's messing with my throat. Now, hear me. I did not say the Most High wanted me to stop using the product. I believe that the Most High wants me to stop smoking cigars because they have tobacco in them, and tobacco is affecting my throat. So the plan is to begin to cook it in butter and all that good stuff. That part. So, you're going to want to ask yourself 5 questions when starting your shadow work. I'm going to give y'all these 5 questions, and then I'm going to love y'all them out. Who am I? Who am I? What do I want? What do I want? What do I have to do to get the things I desire? What do I have to do to get the things I desire? Who do I have to become to receive the things? Who do I have to become to receive the things? And I don't want anybody to think. Because when I heard that question, I said, Lord, somebody going to think that they got to be somebody that they ain't. Why I got to be somebody that you don't? Because what I have learned and understand with the Most High, that anything that was removed from me needed to be gone. If it was balanced out, it needed to be balanced out. And anything that was left. So the Lord knows I start this podcast every time by saying I'm Sylvie, the rough edge lady. I'm probably always going to be rough around the edges. It's probably always going to be a time that somebody can get the smoke. But at this point, the Most High just matured me enough to understand everybody don't got to get the smoke at all times. It's 11:11, you guys. It's 11:11. That is my number. Literally, because I have been seeing it for years. That was the very first number that I began to see it. My daughter and I see it. We started seeing it together. But it's also my number because it's my birthday. January 11th, 1974, 11:11. My daughter is 111, which is also a number. November 27th, 1992, 111. And the last question, how do I want to show up? I want to show up as the best me. I want to show up as the most confident me. That is what I am loving about doing the shadow work, because I feel my inside. My pastor, I'm always going to go back. I really wish I knew the name of the sermon and when he preached it so that I could get that sermon about those 3 balls. It was a raggedy football. The football was torn. You saw the inside. It was just ugly because the inside was showing through the outside. When you don't do your shadow work, your inside showing through, baby. Unless you're the blue basketball and you recognize that you're a hot mess, so you don't want nobody to see your hot messiness, so you're going to dress that outside up. You're going to dress that outside up, boo. You're going to make that outside look amazing balls. You're going to be flat on the inside because when he bounced that blue ball, it never came back up off the ground. Never came back up off the ground. It was pretty, though. You pretty and empty. Vanity. Pretty and empty is vanity. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're pretty and empty, you're trying to do everything you can to let everybody see you're pretty. But you don't understand there's some people out there that's looking at your empty. You think you hiding your empty, but you're not. Then there was the orange basketball. That was the balanced ball. The ball in the middle like Jesus was. Jesus was in the middle of good and bad. That's why he took the good one with him. He was the balance. Jesus was balanced, y'all. He drunk wine. If he turned water into wine, it's because he wanted to drink some wine. His eyes was red, so he probably drank a lot of wine. I ain't saying he was no drunk, but he drunk enough to turn his eyes red. He was balanced. Solomon said, eat, drink, and be merry. Balanced. And the last question. Oh, no, that was the last question. How do you want to show up? I apologize, y'all. How do you want to show up? So, y'all, that's all I got for y'all tonight. I thank y'all for sitting with me for a little spell. I is about to lay down and catch me some Z's because I am still trying to catch up. I started dating. I have not dated since I've been divorced. And that was over 18 years ago. It's close to 18 years. I've not got on one date. Now, I ain't saying I ain't did grown folk things. But as far as dating, I didn't want to. I didn't want to date anybody because I wanted to work on me. And so I went out on the first date that I've gone out on since I've been divorced. And I got divorced in 2005. Yeah, about 18 years or so. Because we were separated for a year. But we definitely didn't date the year that we were separated. So it's been about 18 years. And I went out and just danced all night long, Friday and Saturday, like I was young. I am almost 50 years old. But I had a ball. I did have a ball. And then I just been paying for it because I am almost 50 years old, and my body was like, girl, if you don't get somewhere and sit down and act like you almost 50. But no, I had a ball. I love to dance, and he loved to dance too. So we're supposed to be going back to dance some more next Friday. So we know how to talk about it. But y'all, I appreciate y'all. Like and share. Love y'all. And I will see y'all. Well, I think the Most High telling me I'm going to see y'all before next Monday. Because I got another word that was brought back to me. Brought to me about 2 or 3 years ago that said that I'm supposed to be going live more than once. And I used to. When I was just doing it on Facebook, I used to go live 3 days a week. And then life began to happen. And when life begins to happen, then sometimes life happens and I don't do what I'm supposed to do. And that is the season that I'm not in. That's why I'm here tonight. Because I'm not there. And life didn't even happen. I was just tired. And I was doing it like that. I was doing it willy-nilly like that in the beginning. And if this is something that I feel like is ministry, if this is something, there go that 1111 again. Are you serious? That's the time I've been on now. Now I got to go. Oh, Lord. 1111 just, it's a rebirth. It's a rebirth. It's dying to self. It does, when I first began to research it, it can mean a physical death as well. But it generally is a rebirth, dying to self and beginning anew. And now it's just on the 111, which is my daughter's. But it was like a 1 hour, 11 minutes and 11 seconds. So it was 5 ones that I just encountered that time. So, in 5 ones, I'm going to see the 4. But yes, so I'm thinking Wednesday and Thursday, or Thursday and Friday. Me and the Most High still working that one out. But I will be live again this week. However, this is going to be the only night live because my initial instruction was to teach during the day and pray at night because that's the way Jesus did it. Jesus taught during the day and prayed at night. And this platform is about the mind being in you that was in Jesus. The mindset. Not waiting for Jesus to come and fix. The Bible says that you have everything you need according to life and godliness. You're saying you're waiting. I don't know what you're waiting on. You got everything you need according to life and godliness. Everything. So on that note, I love y'all. Sylvie is out.